we all want is flow. It's like we want to get in our car and have all the lights be green. And it's like it feels good when that flows, right? We want money flowing into our account. We want when we need something, the solution flowing to us before we even knew that we needed that solution.
Welcome to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast, where world-changing spiritual entrepreneurs come to deeply awaken the power within to bring forth their greatest purpose, to create massive awakened impact for millions of souls around the planet, while enjoying being in tune with all life and real wealth in all aspects of their lives. I'm your host, Daniel John Hanneman. Yeah, welcome everybody to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. I'm so grateful to be with you. And again, remember, we are one of those top podcasts in the world, according to FeedSpot. We were number 3 recently, top best spiritual podcast in the world. We're a top 2% in the world of all podcasts. So guys, you just want to be a part of it. Isn't it fun? So before we get into it, I'll just say it right away. Subscribe, like it, share this episode. Everybody wants the flow factor. Every human being wants more flow factor in their life. I can't wait to get started with our guest today. Christy Whitman is an incredible, being, and she's a channeler. You got to love that. And she's got incredible wisdom and fun and all kinds of stuff to share with you. Lots of hacks too. I want to see she's a hack type too. Like she's got hey, I got these shortcuts. You got to know these secrets, these little wonderful things that just work, and it's easy and it's fun, and you got to do it, right? So you got to be part of this, and really looking forward to seeing the power that's here for each and every one of you with the flow factor. So Christy, really grateful to have you back on the show again after, we were talking about you came on with the desire factor about 4 years ago in 2022.
Yes, I'm happy to be back. So now I have the flow factor because that's like after you have your desires, it's like then what do? You got to keep flowing.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So I'm all for the flow. I'm always talking about the flow. Probably most of my channel prayers I always say, and I talk about in the flow of the channel and this and that, whatever. I go on and on. And it's definitely that's where life is happening, right? Let's just start there. I haven't read the book, so I got to confess, but life is a flow. I mean, that's where it's really happening, right? When we stop flowing, that's where everything falls apart. Is how I look at it in terms of what we're experiencing, right?
That's what we all want is flow. It's like we want to get in our car and have all the lights be green. And it's like it feels good when that flows, right? We want money flowing into our account. We want when we need something, the solution flowing to us before we even knew that we needed that solution. That's the way we're meant to live, is in flow. And yet there's this other thing called contrast. We live in a polarity universe. If there's up, there's down, there's in, there's out, there's left, there's right, there's hot, there's cold. And so there is contrast that shows us what is available, and we can either push against the contrast and go, no, I don't want more of that, which causes more of it because that's where our focus is. Or we can let go and use that contrast as the starting point to say, okay, this is what I don't want, then what do I want? Right? Mm-hmm. And to allow yourself to get clear. And the first hack is when you notice you're in the middle of something you don't want, or you're not feeling flow, or you're feeling some kind of frustration. And let me just say this, it depends on the degree and how long and the momentum of that particular frustration, anger, whatever it is, right? If you just meet someone and you get angered by them, it's different than if you've been in a relationship with someone for 20 years and you had anger from, you know what I mean? It's very different. And there's different processes, but on a whole, it's like the first thing you want to do is give compassion to yourself. And compassion is easy to give when we know how to do it. And so compassion starts with understanding that first there is compassion. And what provides compassion is our soul. So, that's what we get to tune with, our soul's presence, which is above us, below us, in front, to the left, to the right, within us. It's like, it is us. And so when we can start tuning to that being that we already are, it shrinks the issues, problems, but it also gives us comfort. So it's like that first comforting point. And then the next is to take our arms and to wrap them around ourselves and to hug ourselves. That somatic touch, to be able to do that and to then give yourself that command of, I am safe. I'm
Yeah.
free, I am good, I am loved, I am, I am successful, whatever it is, or I'm in this moment, I'm okay. This is based on the law of sufficiency and abundance, right? And
Mhm.
to find that sufficiency is what gets us out of that space of lack or limitation, or any of those lower level emotions that don't feel good to feel them for even a minute, let alone carry them longer than their expiration date, because we're supposed to experience an emotion within the full tilt is 90 seconds. If we just let the emotion wave through us, gain the information from it, we don't judge it, we go, that's interesting, where'd that come from, right? But the hack is, I notice I'm doing something or having something, or someone's not doing what I want, so I have something I don't want. What do I want?
Right. Right.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. We get really sensitive about what we don't want. Right. Oh, I don't want this. I don't want this. And they keep saying, I don't want this. Right. Instead of like, yeah, that's what I was talking in my class about. And you do teach whatever, probably similar things, but like, and Esther Hicks or whatever, Abraham Hicks or whatever. But like, like when you get in like if you just flip it to the other side, right? Just start affirming the opposite from a channeled connected place, like you're instantly going to shift. But we just don't even, it doesn't occur to us that we just need to change our state. We're not going to feel that way anymore. We're not going to even believe that anymore. Like really quick sometimes. I mean, most of the time it just clears up like right away.
Well, you're right, because the more we practice this and the more we do
Mhm.
this and we have success with it, then it becomes faith based. And so then, like, one thought that could take us off, we could
Mhm.
just put ourselves right back on because we're bringing in the energy that we want. With someone that hasn't had as much practice and is kind of
Mhm.
getting started in it, where that negative momentum pulls back, that's where
Yeah.
that energy of compassion really comes in, because it's like, gosh, I'm trying
Mhm.
so hard to visualize. I'm saying these
Right.
affirmations, I'm doing my vision board, I'm doing my meditation. It could almost feel like exhausting, like it's a whole nother
Right.
full-time job you got to do just to try to be aligned, right? and
Mhm.
and that energy of compassion, that sometimes it is difficult, right? Sometimes
Oh
you're
yeah.
in a sometimes you're in a minute where you
I don't
don't,
want to do the
I don't want to
affirmation.
do this, right? I had a conversation with my son who's 15, and he's a 4.0 student. And he says to me this morning in the car, he goes, Mom, I think I'm going to get a B in theology. And I
Hey,
go,
sounds like one of my kids.
well, Max, why? And he goes, because I don't want to do the homework. And I go,
Mm,
when do you ever want to do homework? Like, that's like a silly excuse. Like, for this class only, I don't want to do homework, because if I did the homework, then I could easily get an A. But for this class, I don't want to do the homework, right? So when we get in this loop of, I don't want to do it, this is boring,
yeah,
I don't like this, we're in a negative loop. And then no matter what we say or what we do, it's like we don't want to, because we've
right,
already made a decision that,
right,
it's not worth my time. And then we start to
right.
justify, it's,
It's okay if I get to be in that class. Although my daughters would, what was really one of my daughters especially would say something like, "Oh, I'm going to fail this test. I'm not going to do well." And then, like, of course, she always, almost always, I mean, overall, like, she just, yeah, always top of the class. Like, but my point is, like, that idea of like that for her that I think she like likes the game of declaring her fear and then just knowing some part of it knows it's not true, but she likes to just maybe say it or try to clear it that way or something. Like it's like she's got her own hacks, find everybody has their own hacks. I think it would be a little bit funner for her though to feel not to have to dip in her energy though, right? Like we don't need to dip in our energy, right? So if we
no.
but you're right. There's people that get so despondent, so caught up in our energy, we can't, me and you included, right? Like we just like, yeah, hugging ourselves is huge. I mean, I give myself kind of a hug, half the night when I sleep sometimes because it's like it helps me to feel more relaxed. I got the heavy, the weighted blanket, hugging myself, the earplugs, the mask. What? Just calm me down. Because either I could get too excited or I could get maybe I am worried about something that can happen. Like it's just like, oh, I gotta calm myself down. And you're right. Sometimes you have to do different things. Sometimes I put a blanket over my head in the past, like just cocoon myself for hours until I'm ready to come back out. And Yeah, sometimes you can't. You just can't flip that switch. Even if even when you try, but I don't. I think you just don't really want to be honest. And I think it's like, okay, I'll sit in it for a little while, and then I'm gonna come back through it. I think when you get more conscious about how it works, but like when you're more unconscious, yeah, for sure, just start somewhere to start to when I was really depressed as a teenager, I always was like one step at a time, one step at a time, like one new exercise at a time will make me feel a little bit better or whatever. Like everything could just lift me, right? And like, just what's the one thing you can do to just make yourself to feel a little bit better and not worry about transforming the whole thing all at once? That's big
Well,
too, right?
one thought, just one thought
Yeah.
at a time. Is we
Yeah.
are one
Yeah.
thought away from either feeling good or one thought away from feeling bad. So it's just
Yeah.
one thought, changing
Yeah.
one thought, you know.
Yeah.
It's when I had a lot of addiction in my family. I had my sister was she was addicted to everything, but she was a cocaine addict, and she was 5 years clean when she ended up committing suicide. So, and I've had, a lot of different addictions in my family. And for me, there's a difference between a full addiction and having something as a vice. But for both of them, it's the next one, right? Like
Yeah.
if you're saying, I'm not going to eat sugar again, I'm going to give up sugar, right? It's the next bite of sugar. It's not the 10th, it's the first, right?
Right.
It's the first drag of a cigarette. It's the
Right.
first, drink of the wine or whatever it may be, or the
Mhm.
coffee or what
Mhm.
have you.
Mhm.
And it's that first. And so it's like the action is always the last in the consciousness. It goes, what words am I using? Because that sparks creation. The
Mhm.
words become thoughts. The thoughts
Mhm.
become images and pictures and what we
Yeah.
hold to be true. That
Mhm.
creates a emotion, and then all of
Mhm.
that momentum creates whether we're taking effective action and bring the fullness to ourselves to that particular action, or we're kind of pulling back a little bit, phoning it in, kind of moving with a little trepidation, a little bit of doubt. The way we fill up within is how we then express outwardly. And
Mhm.
we're energy receivers, we're receiving in energy all the time, but we're also energy containers, and what we hold in our container is what we're vibrating out. And of course what we vibrate out comes back to us by vibration, law of attraction. That's a whole nother, law of attract, universal law discussion. But the energy, we're energy receivers. So if we're in a really, really good mood, right? And then someone at the grocery store or in traffic or at a meeting or something is in a bad mood, and they're being complaining, or they're maybe even causing a scene, or they're yelling at someone, it affects us. It cannot not, because there's a tuning fork, right? And so by bringing in compassion in any of those kind of situations, if you're driving in the car and someone cuts you off, I had that happen the other day. I was like, what I do to you? You couldn't have,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I'm happily going along, right? And it's like you couldn't wait one more foot before you changed lanes. You had to like
Right.
do the cutoff thing, right? But it's
Right.
like, okay, I bring compassion to myself because that was jolting. Now, remember, that's something contrasting. When we experience something contrasting, it triggers our survival mode.
Mhm.
That part of our brain kicks
Mhm.
in, and it
Yeah.
jolts us, it alerts us. It's how we
Right.
survive things, right? That's how I was able to see that and be able to put on the brake so I didn't get hit, right? And so that survival mode, it thought for me before I could even think, oh, push the brake. And so that's why it's there. But after the information, we don't want to stay in that, the rest of the time. Oh my God, and that's what happens. I like to use this as an example. My son plays soccer, and being on the sidelines very close as a parent, there's been some balls that have come my way, right? And the analogy I can use is that, okay, I'm sitting at the soccer game, a ball's about to hit me in the head, I put my arms up, right? The ball is now gone, they're back playing, but I'm still keeping my arms up. And
Right.
so for the rest of the game, and every time I now, maybe the rest of my life, go to a soccer game or just in general, I'm just going to keep my arms up. And it gets heavy, it's exhausting. I could feel it in my shoulders and my back. It's like, okay, put your arms down, right? It's that feeling of that's what we do energetically. Because of something happened, we guard against it, and then we don't let that release out of the survival mode, and because we're stuck back there. And so
Hmm.
then even the actions that we take, now we're kind of walking with that. Do I have to be fearful of this? Do I get in the car now? Is someone else going to try to cut me off? Right? That where we start focusing and emanating fear instead of being in that, what do I want? That creator consciousness, flowing and, being in the flow of what I want.
Do you want to meditate and make money? Let it be simple. Let it be easy. Let it be fun. Go to yoursacredpurpose.com and get your free meditate, make money meditation today. Right, right. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's it, there's so many times when we're just I want to say the best of us, even, the survival mode does kick us, in the pants, so to speak, or whatever. I don't know. That part of the brain gets activated, and that's such a great, reminder for everybody about how that works. I mean, like, yeah, just even negativity, right? Well, negative, I don't know. Like negative stuff's happening. That could be a big threat to me, right? I mean, like your own negativity, so to speak, your own things are right. Like, wow, that's getting pretty toxic. That's not gonna be good for us, right?
Right.
Then you're even more fearful. Oh my God, no, I'm fearful. Oh my
Right,
God.
fearful of being
Right.
fearful. Yeah.
Yeah.
People would say that to me all the time when I would coach them for years on law of attraction and do, that kind of manifesting work with them. Is like, I'm afraid of my thoughts and of fear, and then they would get this whole lot. It's like, that's where you just bring in that compassion. Right?
Right.
That's where, like, the thoughts that we're having, the momentum that we're going down, as soon as you bring in that compassion, it neutralizes, and now you can choose a different thought. It's like Abraham says, choose a better feeling thought, right? Choose a thought that feels better. And then focus on that particular thought. And thoughts are important because, again, it's like we're projecting these commands, if you want to even think about it. It's like we're projecting the colors and the tones to this infinite universe that becomes what we think of. you
Hmm.
know we
Right.
become, we are what we think about. That non-physical substance, energy, God, however, universe, how infinite intelligence, whatever you want to call it, it's a non-physical formless substance that exists whether we're aware of it or not. And we think thoughts to that substance, and it starts to form. And that's the way of the unit. And then it starts to vibrate, and then it starts to, it starts to literally coalesce and then become someone calling, or
Right.
someone doing something, or infinite possibilities of choices of what could happen. And when you're in alignment, that's the fun thing, is that when you're thinking what you want, and more importantly, why you want it. So, three questions I always have people ask themselves is not only just what I want, because as a coach for a long time, I'd say to people, okay, well, what is it you want? I don't know, but I don't want to be late. I don't want to get a divorce. I don't want to do, right. It's like it's almost like a rubber band, right? It just goes back to, but I don't want to be late. I don't want to be stuck in traffic, right? Okay, so what is the opposite of that? Right? The opposite of what you don't want is what you do want. The opposite of what you don't want is, I don't want to be late. I want to be on time. I don't want to get stuck in traffic. I want open flowing roads. I don't want to gain weight. I want to stay the same or even improve my body, forevermore, right? I don't want to get a divorce. I want to get married. I want to stay married and develop my relationship and connection even further, right? But focusing on what you want gets the mental body going. So what do you want? And is sometimes you just need to ask yourself, what's the opposite of what I don't want? That'll get you to what you want. I want
Right.
this, right? Then the second thing is, why do I want this? Right? I want a relationship. Why? Right?
Mhm.
I want this level of money. Why? Not with shame or judgment or anything like that. It's like just curiosity. Why do you want that? Not from a why, but it's like a what, honestly, why do you want that? Why is that important to you? Because then
Mhm.
you're going to get into your emotional body, because you might think, oh, money. Well, and I don't want to admit it, money, but it's like, I want money. Why? Well, because then I'll be secure,
Mhm.
right? Then I'll be safe. Then I'll be free. Then I'll feel powerful. Then I can make
Right.
choices. Then I can have what I want, or, whatever it
Mhm.
is. And then to go deeper into the what's the feeling, because we're projecting, say it's money, my freedom, my safety, my power, whatever is contingent on if I have money or not. And then that means that that's false,
Right.
right? Because we can be powerful, we can feel free, we can feel safe now, because
Right.
that energy, as we think about safety and we think about what it feels to be safe, we're creating that.
Right. Right. Absolutely. I mean, yeah, I think about like people have told me that through the years, like, oh yeah, I want to make all this money, and I want to be back before he was president. I want to be like Donald Trump, even. Like a lot of people don't want to be like him now, but a lot of people want to be like him, and so and people didn't like him even back then, but. There's less of the polarization, but yeah, I want to be like him. I want to make all this money and everything. I said, no, that's not what you want. In his case, for sure, it was true. I says, no, and I helped him to see he just wanted to feel a certain way, right? It gets back to there's a feeling you want to have that would you believe will happen by getting the thing, right? So for me, like when I'm thinking about manifesting what I want to manifest, for example, Christy, and I'm curious, to ask you how you look at this, but like I certainly like I can just focus on being joy and all that stuff and leave it that simple. Like, okay, I'm content, I'm joyful, I'm happy, I'm peaceful. Okay, I don't even need goals then, I'm fine. But there is something inside of us, I think, for most of us anyway. I don't know, everybody's got a different path where I know there's a certain energy package that's going to come by manifesting these goals. Like keep looking at over here, right? These things manifest, when I properly focus upon them in a proper energy sense, right? Not just with
Yeah.
the thoughts only, right? That I know that will be part of my delight. Oh wow, that happened. Cool. But it's not the be and end all in a sense, but it'll be like, cool, we did it. All right, great. It'll just be fun to do it. I don't need to manifest anything necessarily, right? But I just want to have the fun, and a lot of it has to do with contribution, right? To others, like many people have that, and having fun and doing a lot of expanded things and everything. And it's just cool as you see those things manifest, you're like, yeah, I just did that. That was pretty cool. It's
Yeah.
just fun rather than it's like proving, okay, am I worth it now? Did I just prove that I'm worthwhile now? Like you kind of approach it that way, right? That's definitely not the flow factor, I imagine,
Well,
right?
no, and that, yeah, that definitely not. See, because most people are wanting things because I want to look good. I want to prove
Yeah.
myself. I want to, I want to know I have value. Because it's coming from that place of not feeling like you're enough,
Hmm.
right? And it's coming from lack. So if you think about it, there's three spectrums of emotions. We kind of talked about that a little bit. Lack, which doesn't feel good. There's the neutrality, or that, satisfaction, that contentment, compassion. And then there's that vibrational range of abundance, which is where joy and freedom and fun and, playfulness and, all the good stuff, love and support and all of that are in there. And when you can just tap into the joy for just the joy of it, right? That's good. You've done that work. You know that. It's like that's the vibration I can be in. I don't need to have a strategy. This
Hmm.
person doesn't have to do this. I don't have to go accomplish this, because joy is available to me now. I can allow myself to feel that joy, and doing that thing will even bring me more joy. Most people aren't coming from that place. They're coming from the lack of, I don't look good, or I don't feel good, or I don't know if I am enough. Do I have this value? And then they want to go prove themselves. Ask me how I know, right? It's
Right,
that's how
right.
I started out. It was like, will
Right,
you
sure.
love
Me too.
me? Will you love me if?
Hmm.
Will you abandon me if, right? It's like most of
Hmm.
us, we test that and go, is this a strategy that works? Right? If
Right.
I act like this, and we learn this as kids, right? Oh, you did good on the grade. Yay. Right? It's like, oh, I did good. I get the pat on the back, right?
Hmm.
And the difference between, do you still love me if I didn't get the A? Right? Do you still
Right.
love me? Right? That energy exists even if the conditions aren't there. But most of us thought are, if I want this, I have to do this. So it's like if I want to feel free, if I want to feel secure, if I want to feel wealthy, if I want to feel whatever it is, that needs to happen before this.
Right.
Then, but what happens with most people is you get the title, you get the money, you get the thing, and you still don't feel that way. And that's a
Mm,
sad day, folks, because
yeah.
it's a good
Yeah.
day and a sad day because it's like, yay, I accomplished what I did, what I want, yay, yay, yay. And then you go, dang it, that thing that I thought would go away, that empty feeling, it didn't go. I,
Or
oh,
it gets
maybe,
worse. It's worse.
right, maybe I need another one, or maybe I need more, or maybe, so it's like this constant chase for, it's like, but that little high of yay it happened,
Right.
that it wasn't enough to satisfy the
Right.
depth of the emptiness. Well, what
Right.
does is just connecting with energy first. That's how we heal
Right.
ourselves. I mean, beyond manifestation, talking about living a life that we love and living from a place of where we feel connected and where we feel supported and loved, and where we feel that we're not out here on the leading edge by ourselves. We have this infinite supply, because that, more than anything, not only the fact that we know that joy exists as a vibration and all I have to do is tune into it and choose it, that's very comforting for a companionship, because joy then becomes your companion.
Right, exactly. Yeah, we're coming from that foundation rather than, going after things from our wounds, which, you know, I, I mean, you can't get past it. I mean, we still have wounds no matter how much work we've done on ourselves, and we still go to prove things, right? I see it in myself. I'll be like, all right, it's time for I know it's gonna be funny for you and others here for Big Dan to show up here, like make me laugh. But like Big Dan's gonna show up, I'll show him.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people, again, I've said this many times, like I look like, just sometimes in certain environments, especially extra, like I seem just like a quiet, soft, very laid back person. But let's get into a competition. Like, it's like, all right, wow, this guy's insane sometimes, like totally insane. Like, and I know you can relate, but like, I'm like, yeah, no, game's on and game's over already, guys. Like, that's my attitude. And then when
I know.
but it's fun. I can see you perking up in your chair, right? Because
Yeah.
it is kind of fun, but if you're not in the right energy with it, like, it could just be like, it's like being a dead cold killer, and like you just get the job done. You're like, yeah, job's done. All right, done. And you're like, man, that wasn't joyful though. I got it done, but who cares? Like, I don't feel good, right? And I
Yeah.
definitely experienced that too. And then it just reminds me, oh, it's not about just, getting the thing done. It's about enjoying the whole thing, the
Yeah.
whole thing. And yeah, sure, you can win the game or whatever it is, or hit the goal or whatever, but you want to enjoy the whole enchilada. As Dr. Wayne Dyer might say, the whole enchilada.
Yes. Yeah, it's very true. It's the journey. They say that, right? And yet, to not judge yourself, right? Like, because
Yeah.
that's what the flow factor is all about, is that we lose our flow when we judge ourselves. So if we judge ourselves that I'm not healed yet, and there's something's really wrong with me, we've just knocked ourselves out of flow. So instead, give yourself compassion, because it's that one thought away, right? It's that compassionate thought of, it's okay, you've done well, look how far you've come, everybody's got their something. It really is from a different perspective. It's like, now as an adult, I get to heal all of those parts of me that were building blocks to where I am today. And without them, and without those wounds, and without that contrast, I wouldn't be who I am today. So
Right.
there's gratitude even for those times, instead of beating myself up, or that kind of thing. So it's
Right.
it's it's including them in the wholeness. Like, we want, like, we talk about quantum reality, and we talk about like how our brains work. I mean, we're always moving from past, present, future. All time
Mhm.
is simultaneous, right? But there's these
Mhm.
3 points in time where we look to the future, we look to the past, and we organize ourselves and relate based on, it's as simple as, what did I have for breakfast? Okay, what am I going to eat for lunch? Well, what are we having for dinner, right? That simple, just day to day, do I need to pick up the kids today? No, he said he was going to get it. So future, did I pick them up yesterday? No. Okay. Did I drive them today? Like that conversation, right? And is happening. But what we don't realize is that when we project or think about a future, when we're thinking about that future, are we scared? Are we afraid? Are we totally in the, oh my God, anything, oh my God, the stuff's going to hit the fan. Like, are we in that kind of place? Like it's going to hell in a handbasket, which a lot of people are in right now, where it's like, oh, the world is, as we know.
Did you hear? It's always, did you hear?
Did you hear the latest?
Forever, right? Yeah. Whatever it is, the next dramatic piece of news, right?
Right. And it's like, it reminds me of that REM song. It's the end of the world as we know it, and I feel fine. Right. And it's like, whatever's happening, the happenings are going to be happening, right? The contrast is going to be happening. But as I look, what I have control of in my own mind is how I see my future looking. And if I'm going, oh my God, I'm going to feel horrible in my now. That's why so many people are anxious today, because they're thinking about their future. They're like, oh my God, $15 gas prices, $15 a gallon, right? Like they're freaking out. It's the Chicken Little, sky is falling, because there's unknown. And then that unknown gap, if you're not deliberately connecting with a future self and with a future reality that you are deliberately creating, right? And you're connected to that future self. And when your mind goes to the future, you're like, yeah, all good there, right? And if you've got a lot of trauma or stuff in your past, when your mind goes to the past, there's going to be like it's like a snag there too. That's not punishment. It's an opportunity to go, hey, there's stuck energy there. Let me call back that energy. Let me heal that part. Let me bring compassion to that young one. And then now it's like you're not caught there anymore. That emotion doesn't grab you. So the beautiful place to be is in the now. And the more that you have cleaned up your past and project what you want into your future, you're more present in your now. Because you're not freaking out about the future or the past.
Yeah, because the monkey mind that's what it does, all the time stuff, right? What's happened before? Let's see what's happening ahead. Oh my God, about everything. So, but if you've already relaxed the mind by utilizing the tool, right? I see good things ahead, right? Because you've already planted it in there. Like you feel abundant. Because you already in a certain levels, you've begun or already completed the manifestation, right? So yeah, it really puts you at ease. I think like one of so we know the tools there, right? We got all kinds of tools, visualization, affirmations, whatever, all the different things. But then we have like the aspects of like with the past, and there's tons of tools people know about with that too. But I think like that's the one where where people suffer a lot. So I know everybody has different tools to call. I love what you said, call the energy back. So I'd love to hear more about what you mean about that and how you help people to do that.
So yeah, say that there's a part, and this is where the compassion comes in, because if you hear yourself saying something, you might judge yourself for saying it, right? Or beat yourself up for saying it. But instead, be curious. Like if you hear a thought, like I'll be safe when, right? And it's maybe not a true statement, or it kind of surprises you a little bit. It's like, well, let me just go to that part of me that feels that way. It's like, I'll be safe when this happens. I'll be safe when that person dies. I'll be safe when this, those kind of statements, instead of being like, whoa, it's like, where's that coming from? I don't need to go dig it around, but I will give compassion to that part that just spoke. Right? That consciousness that spoke up, that had that thought, I'm bringing compassion into that part, right? And that's where you can feel your soul all around you, give yourself that hug, and then tell yourself that affirmation. I'm okay, I'm safe, all is well, whatever that is. And when you find, say, specifically like a memory, like say that you think of a memory and it kind of pulls you back in time. I had a client I was just coaching, when she's like, I have a client potential client I'm about to meet with, but because the last few clients that were potential clients didn't sign up with me, I'm afraid to meet with her because I'm afraid it's not going to happen, right? So it's like, well, of course, you've got a history. There's momentum there that says didn't happen, didn't happen, didn't happen, didn't happen. You're about to go into something. So unless you change your energetic state and your attachment to what has already happened, you're going to continue to project the future. It's natural, it's progression, it's vibration, it's flow, right? That possibility or that fear is going to flow into unless you do something different. So instead, it's like, know that that's an option. I don't choose it. I've had that a couple of times as an experience. What I then want instead is I want to meet with that person. I want to have us connect. I want to have her say yes. Let's get started right away. Contract, exchange, the whole thing. And then beyond that initial meeting, you're working with that person. You're seeing yourself working with that person. You're seeing that person receive way more value than she even paid you, right? Because you're a person of increase, and because you know the value that you give and all that.
Right.
That completely changed her state to then go into that, and she got the client, right? Which then changes. But we got to pull back that fear. So she had to release that fear from the very cells in her body. And there's a process. Our emotional body is in our lower belly. So you can put your hands there, you can do like an abdomen crunch there, you could just have awareness there, but you want to bring your awareness down into the belly, because when you can start to feel like a pulse, like if you're going to check your pulse or feel your heartbeat, if you start to just notice and pay attention to the waves of energy, what will happen is your mind will go there, and then you'll start to feel where you can command, and this gets really developed and all that you could command wherever there's fear in your body, and concentrate it like that the energy then pulsates out, and you're giving it like a direction to release. It's like emergency exits are this way, right? It's like releasing out through the tailbone, having it shrink within the body, having it pull from different parts. Like I asked her, where is that in your body? And she said, in my heart. So it's like the energy of that fear draining from her heart center through her belly, releasing out. Then you replace it with the energy that you want, that compassion. So you just letting that compassion energy just fill up all those places and spaces where the fear was lodged, where the fear was kind of sitting and getting activated. So you're commanding that fear energy just release out, and you're bringing in that compassion energy. You could see the compassion energy as like a pink. See yourself being surrounded in it, neutralized. It's like you're pushing a big reset button, and it's like, okay, now what am I focusing my thought on? Now I'm seeing myself successful. I'm seeing myself accomplished. I'm seeing myself in the financial flow. I'm seeing, that's where, and you bring in that energy with it.
Yeah, I had anybody share that type of process with me in that type of way. So that's pretty cool. I just tried with the energy flip. I did that part of it, and that feels really good. It's like, yeah, it's more of a strength of signal comes, from that, like more of what I'm wanting to embody, right? It came right away. Like I'm like, I feel that. I feel that. Yeah.
Good,
So
good.
yeah, that feels good, and I can see how if you stay with it and keep going deeper with it, how powerful it can be. So thank you for that tool, and
You're welcome.
always it's always fun to continue to see what are the ways to shift all this energy that comes up, because it's all of it, yeah, all of it's an inlet into more flow, right?
Yeah,
I mean, yeah. So that's
yeah.
that's the key, is to realize it is, and like, oh man, I'm feeling all this crazy energy. That means it's a lot of flow that's trying to come through.
Well, to tune ourselves to the divine, to get in that attunement, all we need to say is that one thought, and it's thank you.
Yeah.
It's that being in a place of gratitude, not just going, I'm grateful for, I appreciate. Those are great. You're focusing on what you appreciate and you're grateful for instead of what you aren't and not, right? You're in a different mindset. But to really just say thank you. We say thank you when someone has done something or given us, right? Someone comes to the door, they have a package for you, they maybe give you flowers, right? You take it and you go, thank you, right? You've received it. And so that energy of thanking the divine, the one that's breathing us, the one that's giving us this day, this moment, this minute, and just even saying thank you, thank you for the things I even worry about, because that means I'm alive. Thank you for taking the worry away. Thank you. I mean, it could be a constant prayer and connection all day long by saying thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. That's another good one for sure.
Thank you.
So, yeah, instead of another you, you couldn't say thank you, right?
Yes,
Right.
thank you.
So that's much more pleasant, but be much better for all of us, right? Because whatever you're saying, you're basically giving to yourself, right? So it's like you don't want to do that. You don't want to be saying those other things about yourself, right?
Yeah.
It's really nasty.
The minute you go into judgment of
Yeah,
yourself or anybody else, you get out
yeah,
of flow. And so coming
yeah.
back into compassion. I have in the book, The Flow Factor, there's a graph at the back of the book that shows a big stop sign, and it shows that what actually happens the minute we go into judgment, we go into criticism, right? We want to blame, and whether it's ourselves or somebody else, but we're completely out of flow. We're in lack. But the minute we bring compassion back, like, this doesn't feel good, I don't like this. The minute we start bringing compassion to the awareness that this doesn't feel good and I don't like it, we're now focusing on the compassion, and now we can reset.
Hmm. Right, right. Yeah, I like that with your approach too, is that if it's difficult to approach, you must have found through I don't know if you're taught it or you learned it through working with the clients or both. But like, oh well, let's why don't just flip it now? Flip it to peace. From like fear and panic. Come on, just flip it. Like I don't know how to do that. I don't know. I can't feel the peace. All right, well, try compassion. Yeah,
Well, yeah, it's been a lot of development. It's been a own personal working myself. It's being with
yeah.
clients. It's the wisdom of my guides and the counsel that comes in. And,
Mm.
when they came through in 2018, it was like, you're all missing a piece. You're trying to go from here to there. I heard someone, is an influencer on Instagram, was like, when something's going wrong and you're feeling really bad, just go into appreciation. I'm like, you're missing it. When someone just lost their job, but they're supposed to be appreciative that they don't have a job, right? When someone has just lost someone they deeply cared about and they're in grief, are they supposed to just be appreciative? They can get there, but there's steps in between, right? There's a
Hmm.
grieving process that leads to then acceptance of where then someone can find gratitude. But when someone's in lack and they're in despair, to just go, "Oh, I'm so happy and grateful," right? It's not true, and it many times can create even more dissonance and split energy. And so that's why giving yourself that compassion really is that stepping stone. It's that neutralizer. I like to say it's like, I live in Arizona, so it's like, imagine the Grand Canyon, right? And one side of the Grand Canyon is fear, lack, and the other side is abundance. And you just have to take one giant leap over the Grand Canyon to get to the other side. I mean, it wouldn't be very many successful people doing that, right? You need a
Right.
bridge. You need a bridge. You need a
Right.
bridge over. Or you need to hike down it and go back up. But take a helicopter to one side. But you need to have something, a vehicle, to get you over to the other side. And that's what compassion does. It's that vehicle to bridge the focus of what and the awareness. I mean, we're not stupid. We can see, this is what I don't want. I don't like this. Okay, message received. But do I want to stay stuck and keep pushing against this, or do I want to shift? And if I don't know how to shift all the way over to what I do want, at least bringing in that compassion that I'm aware of, I'm doing something, I'm having something, something's happening. I can bring in that compassion for myself. This moment feels icky,
Hmm.
but it's going to be okay, right? I'm
Yeah.
I, I'm this too shall pass. I will get through this as I have all those other moments in my life. I am okay,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm. Yeah. Totally. Totally. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it is good, as you really get really cognizant of that. And I suppose most people do that are listening to a show like this, but like, yeah, you realize, hey, look, it's not, none of it's going to last, so to speak. You're feeling down, not gonna last. You're feeling good. Well, I hate to say it, but that's probably not gonna last either. But like, you're okay no matter what, right?
That's
When you
it.
get to realize it's okay either way, and then you just, yeah, you're gonna feel better if you just keep leaning towards wanting to be in a higher vibrational energy. That's nice, and you're gonna have a greater sense of vibrancy in your life, and all kinds of cool, fun stuff can happen, from there. But you get to enjoy the vibrancy that you are. But just to realize, yeah, because I think people get so we can all get so like controlling about it too. Oh my God, I gotta be, in this perfect flow, or like
Mm,
that's the quickest way to
yeah.
take yourself out of it, right? So it's like the flow can be like, I'm pissed off right now too, in a sense, right? As long
Yeah.
as you don't resist it, I believe.
The emotions, when you resist it, you're out of flow. When you
Yeah.
let the emotions, now it doesn't mean go hit somebody, it's
Right.
behavior, right? The
Well, she said
energy,
go with her,
the
right?
go, she said I can hit that guy. No,
Right.
no, I did not
No,
say
no, no,
that.
no,
No,
no.
no, no, I said let
Come
the
back, Christy Whitman told me.
energy. No, I did not say that.
No, no,
the
no, no,
e-
no.
the energy, you want the energy to flow, right?
Right,
Because that's
right,
what
right.
happens. Those type of behaviors happen because someone's stuffing, and then they just lose it, right? If you're
Right.
letting the energy flow, if you're honoring your emotions, if you're taking care of yourself, if you're letting yourself feel what is happening within yourself, and then you're doing something to manage it, that's emotional intelligence. And that's
Right.
one of the keys to mastering our energy, because emotions are, we have a mental body, an emotional body, a physical body, and an energy body. It's an important thing, our emotions. And I came from the generations before me. It's like, just don't feel that. Just stop it. Don't be angry. Don't be like that. So shut down, shut down, shut down. And so I would have some of those rageful moments, and I'd be like, where in the heck? Who's that? Where'd that come from? Right. So thank God from this work, because it's like now I clear my energy, I clear my emotions. I'm aware of when I get irritated, and I do something. I manage it, right? I'm
Mhm.
aware that a boundary has been crossed, and therefore I'm now feeling angry. So now I can process the anger and then clearly communicate what I want. That's emotional intelligence. But if we're stuffing down and we're not letting the emotions flow,
Mhm.
we're not. How do we get to know ourselves? And to the point that you made, if we're stuffing down the lower level emotions, I don't want to go for my desires because I don't want to be disappointed. I don't want to put myself out there because I don't want to get hurt. If we're stuffing all that down and we're living with fear instead of fearless, when we're doing that, what we're also doing is cutting off the higher emotions,
Right.
right?
Exactly.
So when we're trying to prevent feeling any lower level emotion, we also are very numb because we're not feeling the joys and the loves and it's
Right. Exactly. Yeah, I
so
just did one of those processes with one of the people in my groups, and like the fear, we went inside, and it was like, we got to keep her down here because if she gets up too high, she's gonna fall like she has before. And I'm like, so we had to work through that to realize to convince that part in a sense, to flip it, like see another perspective. Yeah, but like, don't you want to experience that though? Like to be up at that higher level and all the good stuff with that. And
yeah,
it's like, yeah, I guess you're right. Maybe it's time. Like, and also
yep,
now that energy can go to a higher level, because I've seen like there's people that they start identifying themselves as negative people, but sometimes I look at their energy, I'm like, you could be so happy. I just see like how happy they could be, but
yeah,
we just have to get that energy flipped around. So yeah, utilizing these tools and everything, that we can do, some of it on our own, but yeah, often like eventually we need somebody to give us help as well. I always say both. It's not one or the other, in my opinion. We
totally,
need all of it. So,
all of
so
it. And podcasts like yours, exactly.
right, right, right. So with the flow factor, tell us more. I mean, we've been talking about the flow factor the whole time, but yet I would love for you to share more about your book, The Flow Factor, that came out not too long ago, less than a year ago, 6 months or so ago. If you could tell us a little bit about the flow factor, the book, what's a little bit about what's in the book and what people can expect when they go ahead and get a copy. Everybody's going to get a copy.
Yeah, so there's 16 processes in the back of the book that are energy mastery processes. So if it's a mental thing, if it's an emotional thing, if it's a physical thing, or just even like a spiritual disconnection thing. So there's 16 different processes, but it really does talk about how we have activity in the back of our head, which is the back of the brain, which is the amygdala and all that part
Mhm.
that's, responsible for fight, flight, flight. Let me do that again. Fight, flight, freeze, fawn. I try to
Yeah.
go flow, right?
All at once.
All at once, right? Well, there's another option, and that's flow.
Yeah.
So we don't have to stay stuck in that. So it's either like we're in one of those survival modes or we're in flow.
Mhm.
And just knowing that, it's like, oh, I'm resisting this right now. I'm fighting this right now. Oh, I'm escaping this right now. Just knowing when and knowing that we get into those survival mode patterns with past traumas. So
Right.
we talk about in the book how to let go of those past traumas from an energetic perspective, and how to reset and how to get back into flow so that you're living your life mastering your own energy and mastering your own flow, because flow is always there, but we're the factor. And that's why it's called the flow factor. We are the flow factor. The flow exists. It's always there. It's consistent. I
Mhm.
mean, just infinite, but we're the factor. Am I in the flow or am I out of the flow? Right?
Mhm.
When we're
Mhm.
in it and we learn how to do it, and that's what this book teaches, is how to be in the flow. What is the flow? Right? And how do
Mhm.
I am the flow, right? If I am the flow, how do I stay in it? Right? Because I'm
Mhm.
also, it's not one or the other, both and, I'm also human. And in this
Right.
third dimensional plane, it doesn't matter who I am, doesn't matter if you're a celebrity or the greatest athlete of all times, if you have the most money in the world, you're still going to experience contrast. Everybody does. But how we respond to the contrast becomes our life experience.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, everybody's gonna hit the blips or whatever you want to call it, but you're like, "Well, oop, there it is.
Whoop, there it is.
Oop, there it is. That's another good counter to it too. Ah, oop, there it is.
There you go. Just
Out of
made up
there.
another process.
Yeah, there's another one. So, yeah, so guys, go ahead and we'll put it in the show notes too, the Flow Factor, a link to where you can check that out and get that book and check Christy out at her website and all that stuff. And so, yeah, I really feel that, you definitely have a deep, deep, box of different tools, to help people. And then again, you've got the counsel and, all the things you bring forth at that level. So I'm so glad you opened to that too, by the way. I'm so grateful for everybody that's opening up in all these different ways now. And, so we're increasingly more and more people are channeling formally in that way. So I appreciate it. And so yeah, so anyway, we got to the point of the show where we're doing a little bit of energy scanning. So I was wondering if you're ready, Christy, for an energy scan.
Yes, let's do
Couple of
it.
downloads. Yeah, a couple downloads. Okay, guys, and then listen in because this could be for you too. All right. So I'm gonna share at least two today. I'm getting this like, I'm getting that feeling like let's go fast. Let's give her a few downloads, maybe even. Okay, so let's just go for it. Well, what's obvious, of course, is all that witchy witch stuff from the past, right? You've well aware of all that. I see a book within it though. Like there's this book, and it's like some magical kind of book from that past life, and it's got interest. It's very interesting looking. And so, anyway, it's a big book of spells, is what I'm seeing. And yeah, I mean, the thing is, again, is to remind everybody, you've all had your book of spells, right? And this is formalized here, but you can use the spells for good or bad. And it's just realizing now, okay, guys, we can trust this. We can trust the magic we are. Okay, forget about all that stuff we've heard about, like, they're a witch, they're a warlock, they're cursing everybody. And no, I mean, let's start trusting the magic that we are, guys. We've got this deep magic inside of us. We've probably used it in our past lives. And it started remembering it and using it with, with a sense of centeredness and mindfulness. And that's what Christy's doing now. Yeah. Hey, we all had a bad energy day, right? So, so we're like, ah. But like it's okay, it's all right. We're moving through it, and it's all part of evolution. Nothing real can be harmed, guys. Remember that. Nothing real can be harmed. Doesn't mean to go do the shit, right? Don't do that. But like I'm saying, like, nothing real can be harmed. Ultimately, forgive yourself, give yourself compassion. So this is as much for everybody else as just for you too, Christy. Okay, but anyway, the thing I'm seeing with that is I actually feel like and you probably do some of this already, but I feel like there might be another level of this magic you're here to share, because I see it duplicating to other people. Maybe other people have been connected to it even in past lives. This magic, this book, whatever it is, I don't always know what it is immediately. So, but like that, you have this magic, this magic, inside yourself that you've been always aware of. You've taught about and shared about to some degrees. I feel like there's more, and there's more expansion that wants to happen with all that magic that you've worked with in the past. And it could hold, some keys again to some of the so-called ascension or whatever we want to call it, right? All those sorts of things. So let me just tune in just a little bit more before we wrap up. Yeah, okay. So interestingly, you're a great talker, but I am guided to your throat, so that's wonderful. And so your throat chakra, um, yeah, I'm getting something with it's like a dad energy or something like yeah, I don't know what you were talking about earlier, but like I get dad, it's showing up as a dad energy. Now I don't know. I don't always know if it's correct, but like I just get like a shutdown. So in other words, it's a feeling of like this you've got a strong ability to command in your voice, and so that had didn't have a room to express, and so maybe I don't know, it's a theory maybe more than a scam, but maybe there's a strong commanding voice on you. It just looks male to me, but like is a strong commanding voice on you that makes you sit up and pay attention, but takes you out of your own sense of command. So that's why I think a lot of this stuff like has come up for you. It's just a beautiful path, guys. I don't know. I could go on and on. But anyway, we all have this ability to be more commanding in our voice. And Christy, you certainly have, to a degree, right, to be who you are today. And I just see like there's still like this next level, and it's specific to the frequencies you're meant to bring today, without getting too deep into it, but it'll point you into what you already know. So yeah, so just command energy and to be more the galactic commander a little bit more, and continue to kind of let go of some of these old molds a little bit. So it's an evolution. Nothing's wrong that you've done. It's all perfect. It's helped a lot of people. It's helped you. But I see like an evolution that's in its midst right now. Okay, so that's what I have to share right now, Christy. I mean, things you share are timeless already, but like there's this next level coming.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Love it. Yay.
Yeah. And so is what's one thing, or if there's two things to share it, but like what's one or two things that particularly like are like, yeah, that kind of hits or that resonated to you.
Yeah, it's like you're saying that galactic book, and kind of
Yeah.
opening up and spreading up and going to a next level. So yeah, I
Okay.
feel that as well. So
Feel it. Okay.
yeah,
Okay,
for
good.
sure.
Grateful to hear that. All right, guys. So, yeah, what's your next level? Okay, what's hanging you up? Go ahead, go to yoursacredpurpose.com. Soon we'll have more formal kind of perfect way for you to come in. But right now, I've got a free make money meditation, which is perfect actually, because that'll get you into the flow, get your chakras opened up and everything, and start getting the downloads to allow more vibrancy and more money to hear your guides, right? Your guidance has so much wisdom to share with you, but a lot of us are not listening. A lot of people use this to build their business. They just sit down and they start listening to meditation as part of their practice. So you can go to yoursacredpurpose.com to get that. And there will be energy scan opportunities to come to groups with me, or maybe even get a one-to-one with me, as you come on and, get that free gifts. Okay. So you'll see, it's so fun. I'm fun. So, we'll keep inviting you back to listen to this podcast and all the cool things I share with you as a subscriber as well. So anyway, go to yoursacredpurpose.com. All right. So, Christy, this has been really delightful and
Thank you.
magical, and I really appreciate you. And it's been a lot of fun too. I appreciated the fun we've had today as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Appreciate you. And thank you for having your podcast so that people can have a place to hear these conversations so that, there's more positivity in the world. So thank you.
Oh, thanks. And thank you to our audience. Keep on tuning in. We'll keep on rocking it here at Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. Till the next time. For listening to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast, stay tuned for our next upcoming new episodes each Wednesday and Saturday. Please be sure to subscribe, rate, and review to help us to serve you best. As a reminder, you can get your free Meditate and Make Money meditation at www.yoursacredpurpose.com to rock your sacred purpose. Goodbye for now, everybody.